Ladies and gentlemen, it is your man out of Japan, Jay Contra here. It's been a while. Been doing a lot of non-video game related things. Haven't really been playing games. Haven't really even been buying them. I think I've bought like maybe 6 or 7 games this year. Actually, the newest addition to the collection is right here. It is the limited run Dominus collection for the Switch. I actually just literally just got it the other day. And one of those things that I've been doing off camera is kind of taming my Warhammer collection. It's not something I really talk about on the channel, but would it surprise you, would it shock you that I love Warhammer 40,000, although particularly I've been doing a lot of Horus Heresy. There's this concept called the pile of shame, which is this accumulation of all of the mini kits or whatever that you just have kind of piled up over time, and you don't build them, you don't paint them, you don't do a whole lot of them, but because of course you got a screw loose in the brain, you know, your collecting mind is taken over, you've got the sickness, you just keep on accumulating and accumulating. And I thought, since I'm on vacation right now, since I have complete access to my collection, I figured what I'd do is I would make my video game pile of shame, and that's everything right here. Longtime followers of the channel will know that I was in Japan for 8 years, was just buying up oodles and oodles of games, flying, driving, taking the train all over the country. Ended up coming back, and once I counted up all of the games that were in my collection, it was, I think, just over 1,000 games. That was back in the year 2020. Since then, I've gotten rid of a lot of games. I think I've probably sold maybe 300 or 400. But I've also been keeping track of all of my acquisitions since 2020. And I've probably bought maybe like 150 to 200 games since then. So I can tell you that right now I have about 750 games in my collection. Last year, I ended up just blazing through and finishing pretty much all of my Famicom games and my Game Boy games. But that put just a very small dent. I have completed about 50 to 51% of all of the games within my collection. That's the number that I hit last year. I think it might have even dipped down this year, or at the end of last year, especially because, like a buffoon, I went out and I bought a PlayStation 5 and ended up, these are the games that I still have to go through. Shout out to friend of the channel, Sean, for getting me Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. Very excited to go through that. I've also got Armored Core, actually. I've been a real big fan of Armored Core. I've loved playing that recently. However, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put the PlayStation 5 to the side, and I don't know, I'm not actually sure where I want to start. I'm kind of been thinking about going back to the Super Famicom / Super Nintendo, because right here, I actually think this is one of the original games that I have for my collection, but I don't think it would surprise anyone that I actually have games that I have owned for, I mean, going on 30 years now that I never actually properly finished. For example, I've got this copy of Stargate here. What I'm trying to say is, the point I'm trying to get to is that a few years ago, what I decided my collection policy, sort of the guiding light that I want to have for my collection in terms of its management, is I want my collection to be all of the games that I have finished. Of course, that can mean a lot of different things, because I'm not 100% following certain franchises. I'm not following particular characters. What I want my collection to be, and when I look at the shelves that I have in my room, I want to be able to tell you about each individual game, about the steps it took for me to actually finish those games. And recently, the Nintendo Switch 2 was finally announced, and the price was a little bit higher than I was expecting. Also, none of the games were really terribly exciting to me, except for Mario Kart World. But I know that there are going to be games that come out exclusively for the Switch 2 that I'm going to be very excited for. Here's the problem. I haven't really been excited about a game. To go back to the PlayStation 5, when I look at a bunch of these games, like when I look at, say, Final Fantasy Mirage, Assassin's Creed Mirage, this I thought I was going to be so super jacked for, because it was a return to form. It was Assassin's Creed going back to its roots. The problem is that when I throw Assassin's Creed onto the pile of what are probably about 350 games here, a new game doesn't become this exciting opportunity to have fun. Instead, it just becomes another item on a long list of chores. So with the Switch 2, what I've decided, this is what I'm sort of pledging myself to, who knows how successful I'll actually be, is that I want to finish or get rid of all of the games that are on this desk. That's about 350 games. I went through how long to beat, and I calculated that there is about 5,000 hours of video games on this table right now. You know, if I figure I can put in 20 hours of gameplay a week, because, you know, I got a full-time job, I've got a girlfriend, I got a family, you know, so maybe sometimes it could be 40 hours if I take a day off or something. But there's about 5,000 hours of video games on this table. I don't think I'm actually going to be able to beat everything here. So what I'm going to do is system by system, I'm going to go through, and some of the games I'm actually going to buckle in and actually finish. Some of them I'm going to have to get rid of. I've already cut like 300 games. I don't even think I could tell you 99% of the games I got rid of. That's how sort of unimportant they were to me. There are some games on here that are actually very important to me. Some of the big hitters that I can think of, Contra Hardcore. I've been coveting this game for a while, got this last year from Mandarake. Very excited to actually play this since I played it on the part of the Contra Anniversary Collection. Some of them are near and dear to me because they represent my time in Japan. When I first got to Akihabara, when I first landed, and I want to say August 2012, of course, I made the pilgrimage out to Akihabara, figured out how the Japanese train system worked. And what I saw in Akihabara was Yodobashi camera. And back in 2012, you could actually buy sealed PlayStation 1 games. And so I saw two games that were particularly appealing to me because I'd never, actually gotten to enjoy them fully. And that was Dragon Quest VII, which I played a little bit of when I was back in middle school, and Chrono Cross. So I bought these sealed, ended up opening and playing them for like a few minutes. But the thing was, my Japanese wasn't too good when I first got to Japan. I actually didn't know any Japanese when I first got to Japan. And so like a fool, I don't know what I was thinking. I bought like two, one 80-hour RPG and one like 30-hour RPG that are completely in Japanese. And guess what? Here we are 13 years later, still haven't finished these things. So, some of these things I really want to play and finish because they mean a lot to me. Similarly, hold on, do I have it here? Actually, yes, I do. I have here, this is another one of the first games I ever bought. So those games I bought in Tokyo, but I ended up getting placed out in Kyushu. And one of the games, it was the coolest thing. This is what actually surprised me about when I first went to Japan. I just went to some like used media shop. It wasn't Book Off. It was this little place. I think it's since closed down, but it was just a place where, people would go. It's sort of like a media recycle shop. In Japan, you've got used video game stores, used electronics stores all over the place. And they actually had, and I was blown away by this, they had like a Super Famicom and a bunch of complete in box Super Famicom games. Actually, coincidentally, they're actually all right next to each other. They had, this is like my dream collection. They had Mother 2, Earthbound. They had, what is this? Secret of Mana? Yeah, Seiken Densetsu 2. And they also had Final Fantasy VI in the box. So I can tell you, I bought these August 2012. So a week, this is an amazing time of discovery for me. Just landed in Tokyo and discovered that, you can buy sealed PlayStation 1 games, just at this big box retailer. That's crazy. And then I go to the middle of nowhere, Japan, and I go to just some random secondhand shop, and you can buy 3 of the best games of all time, complete in box. And each one of these, I think, was like $5. Even at the time, the exchange rate was like crazy. Back when I went to Japan, it was like 80 yen to the dollar. It's like 142 to the dollar right now. But I was like, yeah, each of these were like $5 or $6, and I was like, sign me up. I bought that Super Famicom that was there, and I bought all these. But guess what? That also meant, of course, RPGs when I didn't know Japanese, and here we are 13 years later. My Japanese is good enough finally to understand these things, but never actually got around to it. Some other big ones, I think what I'm going to do is just flip around the camera real quick and just show you the extent. But the pledge I'm making is I'm not buying the Switch 2 and all of the beautiful games that are going to come with it until I clear this desk. Let's flip the camera around, and I hope you wish me luck. So just to give you a quick survey, you can see the smallest pile. I've actually got two small piles over here. This is the Famicom and the Game Boy set right here. There's a copy of Fire Emblem Gaiden that's under there, and then we've got the two, we've got Rekka. That's actually probably like my most expensive, my most valuable game right there. Summer Carnival 92 Rekka, and then we've got Ninja Gaiden 2 and 3. Can't believe I actually beat the first one. That was pretty crazy. Here's my Game Boy pile, PC Engine, there's my Genesis, and here's, oh man, I mean, this is what I really want to get to. I think I might actually save these for last. My Neo Geo games right there. Love my consoleized MVS that I managed to put together. These are all the Super Famicom games. Some of these, see, I'm not 100% sure which of these are like the original that I had when I was a kid. I'm fairly sure this Stargate is mine. I unfortunately like sold a bunch of my Super Nintendo games back when I was a kid, back when I was transitioning to the Super Nintendo, or sorry, the N64. Let's see, we got all the Fire Emblems. Oh, Thrakia 776. Paid a lot of money for that back in the day, and it's gotten even more valuable, but still haven't finished it. Haven't even really played it at all. Let's see, more Super Famicom. These, I want to say, I don't even know. Oh, these are my Neo Geo CD games. I don't know what to do about Dragon Force. Dragon Force is kind of like going to be like, I think, way too complicated for me. I do want to play Panzer Dragoon Saga though. Let's see, we're going to kind of wind our way through here. So a bunch of Dreamcast games. Really want to finish the Shenmue games. We got two of them right there. I remember buying, oh yeah, this Metal Gear Ghost Babel. I'd say Metal Gear's probably my favorite video game franchise of all time. Ghost Babel is one of the weird ones. Bought this at my trip I took back to Japan in 2023, so I've had it for a couple years. This one's gonna be a weird one. I know Zip friend. Oh my goodness, see, too much. There's too much to fit on this desk. That's what happens. Friend of the channel, one of the best friends of the channel, Zip Davis, has challenged me to actually finish Donkey Kong 64. I bought this. I mean, I had it when I was a kid, sold it, ended up finding it at this like weird junk tech shop. Bought it for like $5. Never beat it when I was a kid, and one of these days, maybe I actually will, or it's like first on the chopping block. Don't know. It's managed to survive this far. We've got a bunch of my N64 games. We talked about... Oh man, I definitely spent a lot of money on Moon back when it was actually worth something. The PS1 is going to be a beast because it is mostly RPGs that are like 40 hours a pop. Like, that's going to be rough. Like, that's going to be a whole year of my life, is trying to finish all those PlayStation 1 games. As will a whole year of my life just being the PlayStation 2. But at least that'll be a little bit more exciting because at least the graphics will look a little bit nicer. And we'll get audio. I think that'll be so cool. So finally get some audio with those. And here are my GameCube games. So many GameCube games. I bought a lot of North American GameCube games when I came back from Japan. Really psyched about playing the Rogue Squadron games because Rogue Squadron 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. These are my Japanese GameCube games that I bought. Really want to play those Pokemon Coliseum games. Then we've got the Wii games, not as huge a stack. I'm not a big fan of the Waggle. Don't really care for the Wii all that much. Then we've got, oh yeah, the Game Boy Advance. Man, that's another one that I kind of want to savor, so I might kind of save for last. So many games, a lot of Pokemon games. One of the things I'm trying to do is I want to play all of the Pokemon versions that have been made. That's probably going to be like, well, I'd say Dragon Quest actually is like, literally, Dragon Quest is like 10% of the numbers of hours. Like, considering that each game is like 50 to 100 hours and there's 10 of them. Like, I've got Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3. 4 I've got on the PlayStation somewhere. 5 and 6 on the Super Famicom. We've got 7. I've got 8 on the PlayStation 2 is here somewhere. 9 is in the DS pile somewhere. And then I've got 10 on the Switch, which, yeah, they're all my Switch games. Oh, there's my 3DS games. Actually, PSA, make sure you test your 3DS games to make sure they still work. I actually spent the last 2 days going through error correction and verifying all of these. Then we've got the Switch games here. Switch also suffers from that cartridge storage issue, although I haven't figured out a way to hack my Switch properly yet. So we've got a lot of games in here. Oh, yeah, hold on. Tactics Ogre. I actually got rid of my Super Famicom version because I figured I might as well play the Switch version. There's another 60-hour game. And then we, of course, have the DS. Big pile here. Lots of Pokemon games. I mean, yeah, there's like 6, 7. I think I've got yeah, Soul Silver here. So I've got like 7 Pokemon games to play for the DS, which is crazy, but considering you can trade the Pokemon around, once you get like past the last batch, the Elite Four is going to be, I think, fairly simple to finish. So that's the pile. This is all together. I like lost track for a second. I had tamed my collection, and I could tell you the exact number, but I've been moving things on and off that list the last few days, so I have no idea the exact number, but it's about 325, 350 games that I'm going to need to beat. I think if I estimate it out, I think it's probably going to be about 5 years to finish all these. I'm hoping to maybe do it in 3 or 4, but I think if I played it at a steady pace, it's going to be about 5 years. So hopefully there's a price cut on the Switch by then, but we'll never know. So I'd be very interested to see where you guys think I should start. I've got my own idea. I was thinking maybe why not start with the Super Famicom? That way we can cut out a lot of those, sort of a little bit more expensive, a little bit more time-consuming games that I have in my collection. Could even start with the more newer stuff, like why not start with the Switch? Why not start with the PS5? But I'm not over the PS5, certainly. And the thing is, with the PS5, there's a lot of games that I want to get for it. And same goes for the Switch as well. So I think I've got a curveball that I think I'm going to start with. But I'd love to see what you guys think. Also, just a quick plug, if you want to see me stream, I try to stream every Sunday at twitch.tv/jcontra. And then also, you can check out my eBay page, as that's probably where I'm going to start putting some of these bad boys, just to make my life a little bit easier. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time, and mahalo.